very early. That's because do you know what? I've adjusted that light today and it is so bright in my face. I tried to do the waiting room thing today, so hopefully that's everybody in. Hi everyone, hello. Welcome along. It's day 4 of the Worlds of Wonder live book tour. And we haven't got massively near the equator and the sun. I've just tipped one of my lights up and it was a last minute decision. I'm instantly regretting it. Anyway, welcome along. Today we are going to visit the little village in Worlds of Wonders. And we're going to have afternoon tea there, a wee spot of afternoon tea with a friend. Hopefully you got your email yesterday with all the bits and pieces. We will be using this Staedtler Ergosoft colouring pencils. You get these in like a 24 pack and a 36. I don't think there's any bigger allotments of numbers of pencils. I've got the 36, but you're totally fine with the 24 or even the 12. You can often get these pencils in supermarkets. They're super easy to pick up, WH Smith, Hobby Lobby, all those good places. Now, we will be colouring the little houses in Worlds of Wonder. If you don't have your book yet, don't worry. There was a download in the email link that I sent yesterday, or hop onto my website. So I can't give away every single page that we do as a download because it's quite a lot of pages. So what I did was I composed a wee download with a couple of houses for today and a couple of cakes because we're doing the cake page tomorrow. And the download for today and tomorrow has like a wee sampler of each. So you can still take part, but if you want to do all the wee houses and have a complete little happy village, you will need to get your book, your copy of Worlds of Wonder. Bev's like, wow, the chat's going so fast. Hi, Bev. Oh, I really just love Bev. Okay, so that's all for today, as in introduction, not all for today. We haven't even started the video yet. That's all the introduction for today. If you have your cup of tea, well done you. I have mine here. Wait, and this mug, which I love the look of, but it's completely impractical. Like, it's so badly designed in terms of handle. Never mind. But it's beautiful, so, you know, I'm okay with it. If you have your biscuits, fantastic. If you have made some home bakes for today, I applaud you, I salute you, well done. If you have a humble chocolate hobnob or any sort of packet, delicious, knock your socks off. I haven't got a biscuit just now because I am a very crumbly eater and there would be crumbs everywhere, but I would definitely get a wee chocolate chip cookie or something for afterwards. And if you're looking for a scent for today, we're all about the domestic bliss, so some sort of pot plant. We have a little lavender on my windowsill in my kitchen. I've got a lavender pot plant and a wee potted rosemary, and I just love the smell of each. We don't use the rosemary for cooking. I just love that every time I reach over to pull up and down the kitchen blinds over the sink, I get a wee waft of rosemary and a wee bit of lavender. Lovely smells. Geraniums, I love the scent of as well. So there's a couple of ideas of scented candles, but to be honest, just get a nice flourishing potted plant, pop it in your workspace, and you're on to a winner. And if you're having a lovely afternoon tea date, I thought we should have some nice soothing, calming music. So I found a playlist of Disney theme tunes played on piano. Like, just, it makes them sound really classy and not like all da-da, but like elegant and twinkly, like you would imagine there was like some guy in a tuxedo, maybe this guy, sitting in the corner playing When You Wish Upon a Star on the piano. Oh, lovely. I would put it on just now, but I think we'd probably like break copyright or something, so let's not do that. Right, let's get, I've been using the sound sheets. Oh, I'm so delighted. I think it's such a good idea. Like, I mean, I know it's kind of big-headed of me to say because it's my idea, but they were such a lovely find. Like, I used to listen to audiobooks and podcasts and music when I'm colouring and drawing, but those soundscapes, especially if you need to think, or if you just want to zone out almost, like sometimes a podcast is a bit of an interruption, or an audiobook because you have to like follow the train of thought. Those soundscapes are amazing. So just go, type them into YouTube, and they're like 3 hours long, so long. There's like market stalls, busy kitchens. You get ones that just sound like 3 hours worth of sitting in Starbucks, like the noise of a busy coffee shop. So I guess if you're used to working in like a really busy hot desk in a coffee shop and you're suddenly working from home and you're really freaked out by the silence, that would be a brilliant one. I mean, personally, because I have 2 small children at home, I quite like the sound of silence sometimes. Just like the silent echo of my own thoughts bouncing off a wall. Right, let's get colouring. I might adjust that light as well so I'm not blasted into the sun. Let's focus. Soundscape, dog barking at the robins. Yeah, do you know what? I'm sure there's you could maybe find a nice calming soundscape that would just soothe the dog and prevent him from or her from barking. Right, here we go then. I've got my Ergosofts. As you can see, they're all put away in colour order because of my tidy workspace thoughts. Once again, the green is the smallest. I think we'll start with this one because it's right in the middle. So with the wee houses, I'm actually going to do them all. This is going to sound weird, but different shades of pink and grey and brown. Now, when I went to art school in Dundee, anyone who has been to Dundee or lives in Dundee is going to know where this story is going. But on the Perth Road, where the art school is, down at the bottom of the Perth Road, there is a tiny little restaurant that is bright pink, squeezed in between two buildings. And for a while, it's just sort of changed hands. I think for a while it was French, and for a while it was like a Turkish restaurant. Anyway, it's just so cute. And it looks a bit like that house in the Dido video. Was it the song that she sang with Eminem? Anyway, it always reminds me of that. And I've just got a thing for pastel coloured houses. So when it comes to colouring this house page, please don't feel obligated to use, let me just try and zoom in a wee bit more, architecturally correct colours. I think with a colouring book, like anything, this is your book and it's your imagination, and if you want pink houses, you shall have pink houses. It's also very, if you're in the UK, very Balamory. Like, there's a children's TV programme, actually it's probably not even on anymore, called Balamory, and it was set on a west, I think it was a west coast island or fishing town. What's the story in Balamory? I'll not sing the tune. You know the tune if you're in the UK. And there was a line of houses that were all different pastel colours. And it's like a real place. I'm not sure where it is. I probably should know. But yeah, that also got me thinking that it would be cute to do these houses not in traditional brick and mortar and slate colours. So we might actually do them all different pastels, maybe not all pinks, but I like the idea of this one being pink and grey. We'll do one and then see what takes our fancy. So these houses I've kept pretty simple in the composition of the houses. So they're made up of basically, I mean, this would be a cracking page for a how to draw book, but I have a really simple method for approaching houses, which is that I work with a piece of squared paper underneath when I'm drawing them, and I sort of grid it all out. And as you can see, they kind of all start off with this basic rectangle shape, and then I build up different sun porches, bits of roofing, feature windows. And I love the idea that there's lots of space for you to do some fancy things if you want to. So you could, for example, get your pens out and do some really nice brickwork in here or stonework, or just colour it in. I know a lot of people don't have the hours and hours and hours to spend on a really complicated double page spread. So for some folks, it's really nice to have these small victories, these littler compositions where you know you can complete one in like 10-15 minutes. And for folks like you that are a bit shorter on time, maybe you are busy working or you've got little kids and you're just trying to do a spot of colouring in between a bit of homeschooling or homework or babies napping, then these are the perfect little pictures for you, because they are just achievable in one sitting and you get all those feel-good vibes from knowing you've finished a picture instead of a double page spread, which is like, they're just a bigger undertaking, aren't they? You know, you're there for a good few weeks with a double pager. I'll be honest and say I've never ever completed one myself, so I understand the frustration and getting halfway through and then just losing steam a bit. So these are a good way to get your ding of accomplishment without having to worry too much about putting aside 3 days to tackle it. Right, for the roof, I'm going to do pale grey for for the most part, and then a wee bit of darker grey over the top. So some of these roofs obviously have a lot more detail. This is a very undetailed one with a good amount of space. So if you wanted to do some extra drawing in there, you could do. I might actually actually I won't. I was gonna say I might get my gel pens out. No, I won't, because I've not tested them on this paper yet. I've got those new Arteza gel pens. It's on my list of things to do, and I don't want to put anyone off by trying it live and making a mess of it. So I'll try that tonight, and then we can see how it goes for the cake page tomorrow. Let's have some gel pen details on the cakes tomorrow. That would make more sense. So I'm pushing a wee bit harder. I'm building up the layers of colour in this part of the roof, which is behind this. What is this? Like a sun porch thing? And I'm going to use the darkest grey just to go over these wee beams. I'll probably do all of them in one go, actually. And I'm going to go dark at the edge and get faded towards the middle, so it looks a wee bit shiny. Although the wood wouldn't be shiny, but I just think it stops it looking too flat. And we'll go darker in here. I'm going to sharpen my pencil again. Because there's a few small details in here, these pencils, the Staedtler Ergosofts, are fab, because you can push hard, get a big strong bold colour, and your lead's not smooshing about or breaking everywhere, which is just a bit of a nightmare when it does happen. With a very soft pencil, you just wouldn't be able to push that hard. It would just squish out and smoosh and make a big old mess. And equally, with a really hard pencil that has not much pigment in it, you would be pushing hard, not getting much colour, and probably just ripping the paper. So if you want an intense colour like this, a big jolt of it, so that rain, you really do need to pick a soft pencil that's firm enough to sharpen. Best of both. Right. Well, we just still keep going with the pink. Was it this pink that I used? Or the other one? It must have been this one. I think we'll do this wee bit pink as well. I'm debating about this front bit here. I think we'll just do loads of different pastel colours, actually. This could be fun. Hear that rain? Man alive. Hope nobody's got their washing out. We'll do this in pink. I've got this other shade of pink here. Let's try this one. And then we'll need to decide on the door and that other bit of roof. I think we'll do that roof grey, but we'll do it in a slightly different one. Right, this wee roof here, I'm going to do in the dark grey that we used for the, what do you call these, beams. And what I'm going to do is push hard at the top of the slates or the tiles, and then ease off on the pressure as we get towards that lip. And a bit like when we're colouring loads of leaves, what this does is it builds up the idea of depth, because you're getting the highlight on the tip, but it's also just a really lovely repetitive colouring motion. You don't need to think too much about it. If you are colouring a mermaid's tail or the scales on a fish, this is kind of a good technique to use, or the scales on a dragon and like Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. It's what I kind of think of as colouring knitting. So it's that really simple action. You just repeat over and over again, same colour, and you kind of get a bit of muscle memory. Your hand and your arm begins to just get into the rhythm of it, and it's just lovely. There we go. I'm going to do these wee bits in here, these underlaps. Ta-da! Right, and then we've got these windows. Oh, and this, I'm going to do this grey. Forgot about that. I'm going to give the windows a cosy yellow glow to them. I'm going to grab my yellow. I'm going to use this sort of sunshiny yellow. And what I'm going to do is, because these are a paned window, so there's 6 wee window panes, I think this sharpener's getting a bit blunt, you know. I wonder if sharpeners have like a lifespan on them. You sharpen the first 5,000 pencils really well, and then it starts to just get a wee bit tired. So for this window pane, I'm going to imagine the light is coming in from this side here. So I'm going to push, not hard at all, but I'm just going to lay down the colour initially in this bottom corner, skirmish it into the middle, and leave this like an L shape of white, so along here and down. And what that should do is give the impression of a cosy light coming from inside, just round the corner, but also a lightness and a reflection on the window panes. You don't want it to look like it's pitch black at night and there's just yellow light blaring out, because we want it to kind of look daytime-ish. If we were aiming for something that was a bit more, if we're going to do a black background around the edge and like make it look nighttime-y, I would maybe put more yellow, but for what we're doing, I would just do the tiniest wee bits. Okay, front door, I am going to go, I would like to do a really pale pink, but there's not one in this set. I'm all for a limited colour palette most days, and then today I'm like, I don't really have the colours that I want. What is purple? We'll do purple. Nope. Let's do pink. This is the paler pink again. I'm going to do it really light, so I'm almost just tickling the surface of the paper with the pencil and just really, really lightly applying the colour. So it's so light, it's just like, it really is just tickling the paper as opposed to pushing hard and laying down colour. You almost just don't want the paper to be ivory, and as opposed to colouring it in, if that makes sense. You're just taking away the whiteness of the paper as opposed to colouring in. And then for the door handles, I'm gonna go yellow so that they look kind of brassy, golden. And we'll make this, oh no, I don't like that at all. I'll go over this. Now we've got our wee letterbox. I think a little pink house would have a pink letterbox as well, so that we knew it was for this house. Just do a wee bit here. We don't have letterboxes like this in the UK, but I'm assuming the wee flag is put up to show that that you've got mail, and that the postie does that for you. I don't know if there's like an internationally recognised colour for that flag, but I'll do mine purple. And then let's just do a wee bit of green around here to anchor everything down. But I really don't think you need to be doing, like, people often ask about backgrounds and, you know, what can we do with all the white space. I like the white space. I think it's lovely when you give illustrations a bit of space to breathe, and I don't think it's a necessary thing to do to fill every bit of the page with drawing and colour. Just leave yourself some breathing room. I think that's quite more than okay. Right, so that's our first wee house. Oh, I see, it's the opposite. You put it up to tell the postman that you've got mail for him to pick up. I didn't realise that. I don't think our posties would collect our mail. We have to put it in the post box. Do you want, you learn something new every day. That's one of the bonuses of mainly having an American audience. Just learned that today. Thank you, everyone. Right, let's do this one up here. Which is actually a bad idea because I'm going to be putting my hand in the pink. So we'll do the one below. We'll do this one. And I think we'll do this. Like, I like the idea of them all being pastel. So let's do it in blue. A pale blue grey. We're going to have all these colourful houses. I'm just wondering if I could go over this with the white just to lighten it up a little bit. Blend it out a tad. So I wanted it to be a bit more pastel-y than that. So this white acts a bit like a blender pencil. It flattens out the colour, but it also lightens it. So if you use a colourless blender, it flattens out the colour a bit like, everyone knows what I'm about to say, if you use the filters on Instagram, swipe right, get that Paris filter on, it just flattens everything out and smooths things. That's what a colourless blender does. But when you use a white pencil or a lighter pencil in the shade of whatever colour you're blending, it flattens out and it also lightens it a tad. So red becomes a wee touch pinker, pink becomes a wee touch paler and kind of more peachy looking. Quite like that. Right. Let's do this one now. What time is it? Oh, it's 20 past. We'll do one more. We'll make sure we have 2 houses done. So this wee blue house will definitely have this front porch like this. I think we'll do the roof on this one. Not sure actually. We'll do it grey. I think what we'll do is I'll colour the largest areas first, get them all sorted, and then we can pick our additional colours for the accents. So for things like the roof and the chimney and the front door. So for anyone else colouring this page today, why not think about an alternative colour palette? I don't think you need to be constrained to the stereotypical sort of signature colours for things. Although having said that, I almost always colour the centre of flowers yellow, and I know there are a multitude of other colours, but for some reason that is always my go-to. But for things like houses, don't feel obligated to immediately reach for the browns and the stone shades and, you know, all those sort of earthy masonry colours, unless you want to. I've seen a couple of pictures already posted on Instagram and Facebook and uploaded to the colouring gallery where people have done beautiful little house pictures and they are so cute and country cottage-esque. But if that's not what you want to do, I would say look for an alternative colour palette. This sort of a bright candy coloured houses is a nice alternative, I think. Just going to go over with our white again, flatten it out, lighten things up. Do a wee bit more underneath what would be this, not drain pipe, gutter? I don't know, whatever you would call that, top of the house. And then I think we'll do the inverse of what we did above. So we'll do the pale grey for this wee beam, and we'll do a darker grey on the roof. You could go for a more alternative colour palette for the roofs, but I kind of think if you're doing something quite zappy and zingy for the masonry, for the bulk of the houses. Sometimes it's nice to just anchor that with something a bit more traditional. I'm going to push quite hard, I think, for the sides of the roof here and bring it into being much paler in the middle. And I think I'm also going to grab that paler grey and do a layer of pale grey over the top, blend those two together, flatten everything out. Super duper. This is the paler grey. So this will just add a wee bit more depth. We had an art teacher at school and he told us that we should never use the paint straight from the bucket or the pot. We should always mix our own colours, and he would look at our paintings and we'd be able to tell if we'd used the blue just as it came straight out the tube or straight out the pot. We had to add a wee bit of black or a wee bit of green or a wee bit of something to it. So when you blend your colours like that, that's basically the same thing. I'm going to make this chimney blue actually. It's quite dark. Just knock it back a wee bit with some white. This little on the side thing, what would you call this? Like a lean-to? I'm going to do it in blue as well, but dark blue. And I'm going to do the front door in the same shade. In fact, I'm going to go over with this darker blue again. Almost want it to be a wee bit, not navy, but quite a rich blue. Definitely not a pastel. I might also just I'm going to add a little bit more to just here. I think this will help add shadow and depth and make it look like that front little porch building is really in front of the rest of the house. Give it a bit of shadow and depth of field. So you don't want it to be like a really obvious line where this dark blue ends, like a stripe. So what I do is I just sort of do these wee spirally skirmishy motions and pull the colour out into the base of the building, and you sort of lose the edge, if that makes sense. What you want to do is sort of blur the edge so you don't see a hard edge where that blue ends. I'm going to add a wee bit here as well actually. It's addictive. Once you've started, you keep wanting to add more and more. It's a bit heavy-handed there. Hold on. And then we'll nip on and do our windows. Let's do them here. So again, just really gently, almost tickling the surface of the paper, and I'm going bottom left corner first and diagonally easing off in the pressure so that we get that white highlight on this side of each window. Do the same for up here. And just treat each individual pane of the window as a new shape. So start here and get lighter, and then start here and get lighter. Don't treat that as one whole window, would be my top tip. I think this is going to have a silver door handle and a wee grey letterbox. And then we'll just use the same green to do a wee bit just around the base of the house, just to anchor us. No need to push hard. Keep all your pencil lines going horizontally, as opposed to like, and that will just help give us that idea of a wee plot of grass. There we go. Right, let me zoom out so you can see our houses so far. Oh, look, the green on that is much darker than this one. And just add a wee bit more in. So there you go. I think I would continue to do all the houses in different colours. I really like the idea of them being, I mean, they're definitely not pastel. They're more of like jewel box shades. For anyone wanting to see the houses that I'm referencing, if you just Google Balamore, you'll see like a little line of Scottish houses all painted in, like, I think it's like pastel yellow and pink. But so these are definitely a bit more brighter, but I just love the idea that they're a little bit unexpected, and a really lovely way to make this page joyful and happy, and you don't have to just stick to boring old greys, browns. I mean, they're not boring, that was really what's the word, colorist. Very, what is that phrase? Just generalizing. Yeah, that was very generalizing. If you want to make them look very traditional, then definitely do that. It will look lovely. But if you want to not use just the browns and those sort of shades in your colouring palette, I would go for those sort of more jewel-like, almost like candies. That would be quite sweet. Okay, I hope that's given you some ideas. Oh, Julie says, this whole time is joyful. Lovely, thank you. That's the aim of the game, isn't it? Spread a little joy. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that's given you some ideas for how to tackle those pages. I've never really had buildings or houses or like those sort of brick and mortar structures in my colouring books. I mean, I've had a few castles, I suppose, but houses are a new thing, apart from fairy houses, but they're sort of more whimsical anyway. So I love the idea that we are tackling a new subject and that we're doing it in a way that feels very sort of curious and inquisitive and playful. So have fun with that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow for day 5 of the Worlds of Wonder book tour, the last day. And of course, we have saved the best till last. Tomorrow, folks, is cake day. Twin your colouring with a cake of your choice. Knock yourselves out. I'm going to try and bake a cake tonight. I probably won't have time, so I'll have one that I've bought from a shop. But whether you are baking a cake, buying a cake, stealing a cake, find something delicious, and we will sit and colour some cakes tomorrow, and you can drop your crumbs everywhere. I won't eat on camera just because I don't want to embarrass myself. Thank you so much for joining me. It's just been another lovely session. I hope you've all had fun looking at all your messages. Thank you. If you haven't got your copy of Worlds of Wonder yet, please go and get one. I want to try and get Piers Morgan off that list. I wish we could just overtake him. I feel like we would be doing humanity some good. Like, the world would be a better place if less people read his angry words and more people coloured our pretty pictures. So tell your friends, buy a gift for a present for somebody, send someone a recommendation, and share your colouring. The more pictures that you share, the more we will spread the word about this joyful book that people can pick up. And Bev says, I agree about Piers. Yeah, don't we all? I don't like speaking bad of people, but anyway, enjoy everyone, have fun, and Do you know what? I don't know why that just popped into my head, but when I got home from last night after doing our live video, no word of a lie, I got in and the first thing I saw, I don't know why I thought of this, is Evie sitting on the floor in our kitchen with one of those great big piggy banks, like a money jar that you have to smash to get the money out of. It's like made of clay or whatever. And she was trying to get the money out, and she'd got a chopstick and she'd wrapped double-sided tape around it, and she was poking it down the slot and trying to stick coins to it and pull it out. I don't know why speaking about Piers Morgan made me think about a 6-year-old robbing a piggy bank. But there you go. Enjoy your afternoon, your evening, the rest of your morning. I'll see you back here tomorrow, and we can finish off our world tour for Worlds of Wonder. We will colour the cake, we will eat the cake. Everyone's laughing, yeah. Enjoy yourself, everyone. Bye-bye.